All right, everyone. I am here with Josh Marquez. Hey, Josh.
Hi,
How
how are
are
you, Jennifer?
you?
Good? Doing
Good,
great.
good. So we are going to talk about getting listings now. This is like our top priority. And Josh owns a brokerage called Home Pros in Glendale, Arizona. Home Pros. So, Josh, how are you and your agents getting listings? Like, what are your top tips?
Different things. Two of the main things that we have been acquiring listings is, cold calling.
That's
I
all we
think,
need to say. End of the video, cold call, get
right.
Vulcan. We're
Yeah,
done.
and I know that it's not very popular. I know a lot of people don't like it. I know it's scary for many people.
Yeah.
And then, you can find thousands of scripts out there, and then you're like, which one am I supposed to use? What's the best for me? Do I have to memorize it? Do I have to sound natural?
Oh
So
my
yeah,
God.
there's a lot to say about cold calling.
More questions than answers. So what I found, and I don't know if you found this lately, but there haven't been a lot of expireds. But today, August 3rd, there were a lot of expireds. It was
Really?
crazy. I was like, what happened? It was like all of a sudden. So I'm interested to see if there's more. And when I'm calling people, they're not saying like, you're the 10th, you're the 1,000th agent that's called me. They're not saying that. So this
Really?
is
Because
like, yeah, what are you experiencing?
we were doing expires, but actually we haven't done it because of the same reason right now, the market the way it is.
Yeah.
So, and actually in our case, for sale by owners and expires, we're like people telling us all the time, like, hey, stop. Like this is Josh Marquez with like, stop. Like, you are the 10 people that called me today, with for sale by owners and expires. So I told the agents, the other people that help me, the other agents that actually cold call, I told them, don't let's focus on circle prospecting, because
Mhm.
that's
A
people that
lot of people were doing that, but I would maybe look at going back to for sale by owners and expires to see if it's the same in your market. It might
right.
be.
Yeah, and then what I noticed a lot was the pre foreclosures. Those ones were
Yes.
good, and good in the sense that people were more receptive. But because of the moratoriums and all that stuff, they were telling you like, what, I probably will have to sell, but right now I'm working with my bank. So we save their information, and we're
Yeah.
gonna follow up with them because at some point they wanna, if they don't reach an agreement with the bank, they are gonna have to foreclose or something, so they will have to
Or
sell.
do a short sale or something. So what are you saying like on the pre-foreclosures?
Yeah, I think that that's again, you have to be early on, in every single step that you do, you have to be ahead of your competition, because
Yeah.
otherwise by the time everybody talks about short sales or foreclosures, it's too late to jump in. So
Yeah.
this is the time, now that the moratoriums are over, this is the time to jump in and start calling those foreclosures, those pre-foreclosures. Don't you find, through Redex, Mojo, all those platforms sell you the
We
data.
only talk about Vulcan 7 here. We
Vulcan
love
7. There
Vulcan
you go. I
7.
use Vulcan 7 as well. I use Vulcan 7 as well. And
Yeah.
actually, I believe Vulcan is the best, because the data is just like the enhanced data is, the best for with Vulcan
Yeah, their
7.
data is the best. The other ones are fine. It's just not, the big daddy of data for sure.
Right. No, yeah, Vulcan 7 is definitely the best. And once you go to those pre-foreclosures, what you have to understand is that most of these people are not in that rush position, but you
Yeah.
are creating that, that connection with them, like, I'm here to help you. And
Yeah.
then you follow up, with emails, with text messages once in a while. It's going to take a few months, but the point is that you already were the first one to contact them.
Yes.
And then
It's
you
like
build
a for sale by owner. They will list, if they list, it'll be with the first person that I find. Like when I'm calling the pre-foreclosures, I do like to follow it up with a door knock, with something dropped off to them, because sometimes they're getting like maybe a lot of mail or a lot of calls. And so I'll just say, hey, this is Jennifer. I'm a real estate agent. I saw that the house had come up on the bank's list. I'm wondering if they've talked to you about a short sale. And
right.
yeah, they're like, what are you saying? Are you saying something like that?
You know what? When it comes to talking to people on the phone, I don't follow scripts.
No.
I don't know. I just technically just call them and say, hey, this is Josh Marquez from, Broker with Home Pros. I'm just going to see if you're interested in selling your home. Or if it's for pre-foreclosure, hey, I see your house is in pre-foreclosure, and I go straight to the point. I honestly, I don't even ask, how are you? Like, hey, how are you?
You shouldn't ask. Nobody should ever ask, how are you?
Exactly, because
It's
you
just, you don't know them.
Right. Like, who do you really care? How are you? Don't even.
Yeah, it's so weird. Stop it immediately if you're asking, how are you? Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's good. And so
I
you're
go
getting in
straight to the point. You're
conversation.
going to straight to the point. You know, if it's a foreclosure, if it's a pre-foreclosure, if it's a short, I mean, for sale by owner, whatever. I go straight to the point. Next, you know,
Have
if
you
they
thought
don't.
about selling your house? That's it. I like it. That's perfect.
Yes.
And they'll say yes or no.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Because sometimes I check, you know, one of the things, you know, I check, you know, the recorded, you know, calls from some of the agents. And sometimes, you know, I see, you know, everybody going through a long conversation. Hey, how are you? And then it becomes weird.
It's
You know, it becomes really weird. And I'm like, why do you ask that? And why did they respond? And why do you have to go so long, you know, with us just for them to tell you like stop, you know, like don't have to go into all that. So yeah.
I think that's really good. So, I mean, you're talking about beginning the relationship. So getting listings now, cold calling, and the people you're calling is circle prospecting, for sale by owners, pre-foreclosures, expired listings, old expireds. I mean, you can get all the data.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, all the data, like you said, you know, it's available out there, and you know, it's cheaper. You know, I know some title companies can provide you. If you're starting, you don't have the budget. You know, some titles can give you the data, and you can just get a Vulcan 7 dialer in there, and then you don't have to pay for the enhanced. You can just get the basic. You get unlimited with the basic. Well, at least with the plan that we have, unlimited with the basic, and then you can upload your own list if you have something, you know, better from title companies. Some title companies provide you good data. In my case, some of them are like, no.
Yeah, we don't really get data from them, but and then if people wanted, we actually have, because of the podcast, the Real Estate Fight Club podcast, Vulcan 7 gives a discount. So if people go to or if they go to vulcan7.com/Jennifer Mertland, they'll get it for $50 for 2 weeks. Just try it. Yeah.
Yeah, they should try it. Definitely. You
What
know,
are your other ways?
I had to pay the whole thing, you know, like to see if it was better. But you know, someone was telling me all the time, like, that's the best. Try that. I know it's a bit more expensive, but it's better. Your time is money.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You know, like, because the other ones, you are calling like 800 numbers and you get 3 conversations. And with Vulcan, you are calling, and when I start calling, I'm like, damn, like, this is good. You know, like, you start talking to people, you know.
Right away, right. How else are you getting listings now besides cold calling?
One of the things that works, and always, you know, and I think that most of the coaches out there are pushing it, it's, you know, video marketing. You know, when you do videos out there, you know, we try to do a bunch of videos of everything we come across, and try to put as much content as we can out there. And that, you know, puts, you know, you sets you apart from the crowd. But one of the things, like I always tell and I was talking to an agent this week that, you know, she wants to jump over with the company. And I was like, hey, this is the thing, you know, when you do good video, you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
You have to set a goal and say, you know what, for 3 months, I want to do 2 videos a week.
Yeah.
You know, and just do it and put it out there. Because otherwise, if you do it for a month, if you do it 1 week, you do it, and another week you don't do it, it's not going to work.
But that's everything, right? No matter how you decide to get leads, it's consistent time on task. So like consistency for a week isn't going to do it. But like you said, 3 months in, consistently doing something, you will see a return.
Correct. Yeah, you have to, you know, like I said, you have to be consistent. And once you do that, the beauty about video is that unless, you know, unlike, cold calling or some other type of marketing that you do, you are creating branding. And what branding does different from marketing, you know, is that marketing, you are trying to acquire the lead in order, you know, to follow with that. Branding, what does is that people is calling you, you know, and then, like, hey, I saw, you know, for me, it's like people calling me, say, hey, you know, I see all the marketing that you do for the houses. I want to list my house. Just like that. And I'm like,
okay,
those are the best calls. Yeah, because I don't have to be chasing them. They actually coming to you because of the branding. So that's the difference between marketing and branding. Once you create that branding, you know, people start calling you instead of you trying to reach out to them.
Once people get over the fear of being on video and seeing themselves and seeing how fat and old they are, what do you like? What are you talking about? What is the content? Where are you putting it? Like, give us a few more details.
So one of the things that we do, I have, a multi-stream program that, that we can multi-stream,
Okay.
to different, Facebook, LinkedIn at the same time, live on LinkedIn. So doing lives works a lot. We were doing it before the pandemic. We were doing it at the builders.
Okay.
And we were going to the builders, and right from the builder, we would start, doing a live video in there, and people love those things, because you are showing them the house right there, you're talking to them, and people start interacting, and people start calling us, sending us messages to Messenger. Hey, where's that community? I would love to see that community and stuff like that. So we grab good buyers out of that, and they were.
That's a good idea, like touring builder houses, because they'll give you permission to do that.
Right, and we were doing it weekly. We were going every single week to one builder and do that. Not only that, but we would.
That's easy in Arizona. It's always building over there.
Right. So we were doing that, and then we were, but we were doing the live, and we were doing a pre-recorded of a better one, just highlighting the best points of the house, and then we edit that one and they put it on YouTube. Okay. So those were the things that we were doing. As far as I think that right now the best is is YouTube. I mean, if you go to YouTube, that's the best source. If you want to put videos, right there, just go to YouTube. LinkedIn is slow, but actually you can get good people in there too, on LinkedIn, but it's just kind of slow. You have to be very patient with LinkedIn,
YouTube feels like an untapped resource. That's something that, I mean, we both have a ton of videos on YouTube. And it's like just creating the content is good, but then there's so many nuances and stuff to push the channel. But for now, it's like step one is just create the content. Like, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about editing it. Just like take it with your phone and like put it up there, like neighborhood spotlights or something else, like questions that you always get asked as an agent. Like, just do a video about that.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to, YouTube, like you were saying, like it's the content, just creating the content, it's creating the content. And, I'm a very, I like, Gary Vee a lot. And one of the things that he always says, is like, it's, creating the content over the perfect content.
Yes.
Because if you overthink it, like, oh, that was wrong, that was bad. Like, oh, I didn't do what I said there. And I have to do it. Once you do the video 3-4 times, you get fed up with it, and you're like, okay,
you don't even want to do it anymore. You're like, oh, it's not worth it.
Exactly. So just put it out there. Be you, and with time, one of my agents actually, I always tell people, like, I made her famous, because she's we were doing videos, but at the beginning you could hear, her breathing when she was on camera, like, like you could hear it. And I would tell her, like, don't hold. But after, I don't know, we make probably 50 videos with her. And after a while, she just got it.
Yeah, that's everything, right? It's everything. It's when you are practicing and when you couldn't ride a bike and then you learned to ride a bike. How did you learn? You learn by falling 800 times, right? And busting your elbow and your knee and all this stuff. And now you know how to ride a bike. I mean, I don't know how to ride a bike, but other people do. So it's like, it's the same thing, applying these principles to your business.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Use that consistency. I mean, I think that's key, the consistency and, a quantity over quality until you can achieve that quality. So doesn't mean that you have to be 10 years doing the same crappy stuff. It just means that you have to start like that. And then, keep progressing until you reach that level of that you want. Like for me, I haven't reached that level of the video quality I want. But I know it's not cheap. It's not cheap. I know it takes money, it takes time. So, and I want to get, better quality, like Ryan Sternhardt, you see his videos and you're like, damn, like,
I know. But he didn't get there overnight, right? Like he didn't wake up and start doing videos like that. It was like this whole progression, like you're saying.
Correct. And he has a full crew, when you have the guy is like a famous guy, and he has a full crew of people,
That's what I want. I want people to follow me around and record and then just like make it into stuff.
Like, just like, I'm just gonna do my thing and you edit it, you pick whatever you think is best.
How much does that cost, Josh? How many people would we need? I think we need at least 3 people, right, to be recording, plus like a full-time personal assistant. So like 4 people. How much would that cost? How many houses do we need to sell to pay?
Oh yeah, that you would have to sell a few $1 million houses to pay for all that people, because some of the best are not cheap. He hired, I was following one of his videos and he hired one of the best guys in New York for YouTube, and I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, that's not cheap,
No.
that's, in the thousands every month, just to have that guy.
Well, how many listings do we need to have? That's what we're talking about, right? How many cold calls do we need to get to make? And how many videos do we need to do in order to get all the listings in order to pay for these people?
Right, I know, I don't know, probably
A lot.
a
A
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
depends
and
on the market. In Arizona, we'd have a better chance than in Ohio for sure.
well, I don't know your market, but here cold calling is not easy because
Yeah.
everybody's doing it. Now everybody's like,
No, I was
also,
talking about your price point is higher.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the price point right now, well, we have the 500s. That's the medium price right now.
Okay, we're like 200, 250.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, yeah, we were there. We were at 280 like before COVID, and then all this like the the medium price in the Ford something like that. I'm like, oh man, like that's it's getting expensive here. Yeah.
Well, those are really good tips. Did you have any others for us? Those are your top two?
Yeah, those are my my top two, and of course, always the relationship that you make with other people.
Of course. Yeah.
One of the things that I always tell people is that even my agents is like meet with loan officers, meet with escrow officers, because at the end of the day, if you show them value, they are going to hire you themselves, even though if they know a lot of people. Right now I have a buyer, which is a lender, and she saw what I could offer when it comes to helping her buy a house and selling one of her houses. And she knows hundreds of agents.
Yeah.
And she decided to say, you know what, I want you to do my, sell
awesome.
my $100,000 house and to give me.
That's a wonderful compliment for sure.
Yeah, so exactly. So that's great, because knowing that that agent, that loan officer knows a lot of agents, coming to you is like, okay, well, thank you for the opportunity, Right. So always make those connections with people, but show them your value. You have to show something different than the other people is doing in order for people come to you and say, like, you know what, I like what you are doing. That is not just put a sign in front of the house and let's see what happens.
Right, exactly.
It's doing something different. Definitely.
That makes sense. Well, if people have a referral for you in Arizona, what is the best way to get in contact with you? Or if they want to talk to you more about doing the videos and things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can go to joshmarquez.com, like my name, joshmarquez.com. You go in there and you can see all my information right there. That's the main, I think that's the easiest way to, to get to contact me, because you have all in there. And then you can.
You have a preferred way to be in you have a preferred way of communication?
I'm stuck to my phone technically all day, so you can send me a message through Facebook, Instagram, and I'll be there. I'll have my phone all the time. So whenever anytime you send me a message, I will reply. If it's not, if I am busy, I'm gonna say like, hey, I'll call you right back, or message you right back, or whatever. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram, I'm there. Send me a message and I will reply right away.
That's cool. I like, just to wrap up, I like how your points, I mean, it's simple, right? It's like, you don't need to have a trillion ways that you're generating leads. You have one or two, and you just do those fully, and you will get enough business. You can get as much business as you desire. Right. And then so you focus on that, and then as you expand, you can have some other agents, build a team, whatever, and then doing some other things, but I mean, you cannot do all of them. If you try to do all at the same time, like sending postcards, doing videos, and all that, it's too much. It's too much. You are not focusing on anything, so you have to focus on, for me, it's like the cold calling and the videos. Those are the two main things. Yeah. And then after that, sometimes some agents like, hey, like we sell a house, well, let's sell some cars in there, whatever, but it's just like something complementary. It's not the main thing. It's not the main, right? Exactly. Well, cool. I really appreciate you being on, Josh. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure, and right here, any questions, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you.